What did you say?
Yep.
Okay. Hello. This is Lena, and I'm here with Gillian Godsill, and we're doing this week's Crypto Divas. And let's just have a quick look what happened in the crypto world this week. So, Gillian, you want to start, or should I go ahead first?
I don't mind. Well, I'll just jump to one thing that I saw. It's kind of like, it's funny, the Bitcoin whales are acting up. Reading that, it's all over the papers. And apparently there's been a report from Bloomberg, an analysis firm from Bloomberg, that a lot of hodlers, and they define them as long-term holders of Bitcoin between 6 months to 2.5 years, who have been dormant before, are now transacting. So there's a waking of the long-term hodlers, and there's a reduction of inactive accounts by 27%. Okay, so apparently it's gone from 3.8 million inactive holders, address holders, to 2.8 million. So there's a million more people in the market transacting. Doesn't say what it'll do, what the impact will be, but just there are more people trading who. Mostly loads of people have bought Bitcoin back in the day and then forgot about it. Just sort of, put it there and thought, oh, that's, and now maybe they're looking at, oh, maybe I should do something with it. So I don't know how it'll affect the markets long term, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is some interesting news, definitely. Well, it's kind of the new year. People are much more hopeful now, saying like, "Oh, it's going to the moon again." We'll see. It's good. So here's what I found. There was a 51% attack on Ethereum Classic earlier this week. And there's some interesting things about it. So apparently about 1.1 million was double spent. And they haven't really figured out who was behind this. Some sources say that it could have been kind of a mining accident because there was a new mining facility, Ethereum Classic, that went live. But also there is an exchange called Gate.io that said that $100,000 was returned to their exchange. So it looks like it could have been a white hacker who wanted to remind people that the risks in blockchain consensus and hashing power security are still there. So a white hat hacker is someone who basically has a strong professional ethic and uses his hacking abilities for sort of good rather than personal gain. So that's interesting. But yeah, 51% attack is, let's say, can occur when there's not enough miners to secure the network, and if someone has 51% control, they could do a double spend on any blockchain potentially.
Yeah.
And this kind of leads into another thing. So Ethereum is preparing for a hard fork, which makes mining less profitable. And, people are concerned that this could be the case here. So if less people are mining, because the mining reward will be dropped from 3 Ethereum to 2 Ethereum, if people stop mining, it could potentially have 51% attack.
Wow. What will it mean for the price? If there's a fork, what will happen there? So will there be another type of Ethereum, or will they keep the same coin? Or
if well, that's again about consensus. If most miners or nearly all accept the fork, then there won't be a new. However, if the miners don't agree with this update, then we could see another something like Ethereum Classic.
That's interesting. I saw something that you like, because you're a CryptoKitty person, aren't you? Do you still have any CryptoKitties?
I think I have some somewhere. I haven't.
Well, apparently they have now partnered with Gods Unchained, which is, pardon me, a competitive esports platform, and they're also on the Ethereum network, and they also produce non-fungible tokens. So they want to cross-pollinate. You can buy your NFTs on cryptocurrency, and you can move it over to Gods Unchained back again. And it's kind of good news, because CryptoKitties has gone down to like the last 24 hours. Apparently, there's only like 233 active users, so it's very slow at the moment. So it could give them a new boost. Something kind of interesting, because you might go back and dig out your old crypto kitties and cross-pollinate them.
That's fun.
And did you see that very funny piece during the week with Fortnite, which is the biggest online video game, and it's like 6.6 million Twitter followers? They enabled Monero by mistake. Did you see that story? It was somebody, because the CEO had to come out, because nobody knew about it. There's no other cryptocurrencies. And I mean, Monero wasn't even consulted. They didn't know about it. So there was no news. Next minute, there was a box and you could pay using Monero. And it was a pure mistake, everybody thinks. And the CEO's name, I forget now, but he came out and said, no, we haven't. Cryptocurrency is still too volatile. We haven't engaged them. But for about a day, they were going, oh, yes, you can use Monero to play Fortnite. Kind of funny, isn't it?
How do you possibly do that by mistake? I mean, someone would need to add the code to accept the payment. How do you do that by mistake?
I don't know. I mean, like, per se, the CEO, again, his name I didn't twig, but he was saying he wasn't blaming anybody. There's two people that organize the monies behind it, these two different platforms, and he wasn't pointing the finger. So it could have been someone maybe making a joke, ha 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 ha, or it could have been, yeah, it sounds more like somebody not being malicious, but being like kind of funny, like almost wife hacking, if you like. You know, let's just push these buttons here and let them accept Monero. So for a brief moment, Monero was in, and Fortnite were in the news.
That's pretty funny. I really like this one. So Robert Escobar, who's Pablo Escobar's brother, has launched his own cryptocurrency, and they are raising money to impeach Donald Trump.
No way.
Yeah. So at first he was fundraising on GoFundMe, and that was shut down for obvious reasons. And apparently they managed to raise 10 million in 10 hours in the crowdfunding, but that was shut down. But he went, okay, you're going to shut that down. We're going to do a cryptocurrency. You can't shut that down. And now they are doing an ICO pre-sale. They're selling 200 million tokens, and it launched on Wednesday and will run until May 10th. And he hopes to sell 1 billion Escobars, according to its white paper.
How will they impeach him? Do they need to pay for legal aid? Is that what it is? Or lobby congressman or something?
Well, I probably need to read that white paper. It could be quite. So they are planning to raise 50 million in GoFundMe, and they call the campaign "Bye Bye Trump." And let's see, yeah, 10 million was donated on GoFundMe, and yeah, they've also released another crypto called Diet Bitcoin previously, but that seems to have died.
I remember.
And yeah, so I wonder, yeah, it's a good question. So what are they going to do? Like, are they going to go legally, or, like a drug cartel, pay some assassins from the fund?
That's mad, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Well, you never know. I mean, like, because presumably to do it, I mean, like, apart from the paid assassin, you just need a lot of money to do it legally, I would imagine. You need to lobby Congress people and stuff, or whatever, together and then set up some special investigation and, I don't know, things you read about. It's kind of mad. And then I found another story too, and I like this one. It's a Bitcoin treasure hunt in Paris. You're going to solve a visual puzzle. Those have been done before. The artist who's doing it, he's like a French Banksy. His name is Pascal Boyard, not the church. And he's taken the iconic Delacroix Liberty leading the soldiers. That one with the Lady Liberty with the flag for the French Revolution. But apparently, so people, it starts off at 2.6 Bitcoin, goes to 2.8 Bitcoin, 0.28 Bitcoin, sorry. People are donating prizes, but you have to be there in person in Paris in front of the mural. And it has been found apparently. And what they're thinking is that in his version, it's a very sanitized version because Lady Liberty has a bra on, because in the other one her breasts are out and she's there leading the troops. So here now she's covered up. So they reckon what is something you've got to maybe in person look under the bra or something like that. So I think a trip to Paris, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, nice. Right, what else do we have here? Oh, this one is quite cool. So what people always bring up is like, show us some real use cases of blockchain. There are many, and NASA is thinking to use blockchain to secure aircraft flight data. So,
makes sense.
And they're doing it to ensure the privacy and security of the aircraft flight data. So there are some concerns that some people have, saying like, for example, corporate espionage could happen if it's made public, and they have called it automatic dependent surveillance broadcast, and it will be publicly broadcast aircraft's identity, position, and other information. So yeah, that's sort of one instance that this could be pretty cool. But also, you know, you do anything like that, you could suffer some DDoS attacks and things like that. But yeah, I think this has good potential. And you maybe even something like, you know, the black boxes of the aircrafts. So they are lost quite often, which they shouldn't be, but it happens. But what if all of that would be broadcasted and put on blockchain, making it, you know, immutable? It's the main thing. Maybe that could solve a few problems.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, speaking of sort of real life world, whatever. Interesting. Blockchain developers are making a fortune. The average wage for an experienced software developer is like $132,000, which is a nice little wage, I have to say. But for blockchain, if you're in blockchain, 176, nearly $200,000. So if you're not into blockchain, get into blockchain. And they were saying too as well, South Korea has now allowed blockchain R&D to grant tax credits. So it's all, I think that the people selling the shovel are going to do very well at this, don't they? So if you can program or project manage whatever in blockchain, there's a lot of work out there.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere quite recently as well that LinkedIn reported that the highest growing area of jobs posted is in blockchain, and also these are the highest paid. So definitely, everyone get into blockchain.
Yeah, so there are some happy news. And then I saw actually, I don't know why, it's like a funny piece. You know your man Julian Haas, he's a co-founder of 10x, and he speaks a lot. And he was actually in Dublin there last year. I didn't actually hear him, but I know he was here. But he's just left the company, and he put a video. He's very emotional, but I'm none the wiser as to why he's left. Isn't it funny? I mean, like, obviously there's some reason why he's left, obviously, and he's quite emotional on it. But he has this like 2-minute video, and I watched it, and at the end I went, I still don't know why he's left because he's upset. It's not funny. Why would you do that? We think obviously there are some. Maybe it'll come out in the future. I thought it was a strange thing to do a video without giving a reason on the video. Probably like you're upset.
Yeah, I saw him do a talk in Finland, I think over a year ago, and he was very enthusiastic at that time. Obviously, they raised a lot of money. I think was it 60 million or something.
Huge.
But then you think, start to think, what is it that they're actually doing? So it's some sort of crypto card, and that's nothing new. And they weren't able to do that either because Visa kept taking away, because they were violating some AML regulations, and KYC wasn't met, and they kept losing the card partners. So, I mean, if with 60 million, can't figure out how to do a card where you can spend cryptocurrencies, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I suppose you can afford to be sad. You still got 60 million in the bank, or there's a nice chunk of it someplace in one of his bank accounts, I'm sure. Like, you see all the jokes going around, the end of year jokes, and they had lots of, they had lots of ICO jokes going, I've just raised huge amounts of money. So what? I don't have any fiduciary duties, do I? You know, all these sort of cartoons. But the best one that I saw actually, and I saw things that Lambo's being used as clothes horses, you know, just doors open and you know, the line around the clothes being clothes out being hung off them. But I thought the best joke I saw was, in the future, everyone will want to be anonymous for 15 minutes. Isn't that very clever? I love that. I think that's a short story. Imagine if you were anonymous for 15 minutes. In the future, when everybody can track us and we can't do it, and we're there pretty much already. But if you were anonymous for 15 minutes, what would you do?
Good question.
I think there might be a little play. I was doing my radio program yesterday, and I had on a festival director for a one-play festival in Bray, which is a town south of Dublin. But it's basically, I think there's 13 or 14 in total, three a night, and it's less than a 1 hour, 1 act play, and then they're judged afterwards. And he said, Jill, if you write a play, I'll produce it. So I think I could have found my topic. Because at 50, what would you do? It's like there's a book I read about, and I've never read it. This woman, she was a psychologist, or I don't know, she's a very brainy lady, lots of degrees behind her. And she wrote this book, and she said, she's feminist, she said, if you had a dick, what would you do? And she asked lots of prominent women, what would you do if you had a dick? You know, some very amusing answers. But the same way, if you're anonymous, what would you do if you were anonymous for 15 minutes?
I would probably do something incredibly stupid.
Yeah. That's all my news. That was just my last piece. So everyone should be anonymous for 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. That would be fun. Oh, I heard an interesting one. Of course, anything about China, the Western media spins it into something completely evil, which in many cases it is. So China has announced that they are going to require companies to identify every single user that they have if they're doing anything with blockchain. And that comes into effect from 15th of February, I think. So the headlines over here were, of course, what did I see? China takes over blockchain, which isn't really what they're doing. But, you know, yeah, how would that work technically? So, for example, if you have the Neo blockchain, which is Chinese, who are they going to have to identify? Every single person that has a token? I mean, so exchanges would need to KYC anyway, but let's say some companies who are building dApps on Neo, do they have to identify every single one of those and then their users? Or, you know, what's going on here? And I spoke to a few Chinese friends and they said, yeah, it is true, but, you know, China is a weird one, so they oppose all these weird laws. But, you know, for them, business comes first because, you know, they are kind of ruling the world with that. But this will also create a lot of new businesses. So, for example, like GDPR did, EU comes out with this new regulation and suddenly companies are like, well, what do we need to do? We don't know. And suddenly a huge amount of these little businesses pops up that does your GDPR advisory and all that stuff. And now there is a new one from EU as well, from I think starting this year, that there are some new AML and KYC regulations, and also you need to identify businesses and who are the profiteers from the businesses and so on and so on. So companies over here as well don't know what to do. And another sort of area where new businesses starts, I'm actually helping out one project that is starting a business exactly like that, to do KYB services for companies. So yeah, it's sort of funny how sort of governments spark up new business from their potentially stupid laws. But yeah, it's also kind of scary. So if you think of it, companies have this, they have to identify all of these people and customers, which means that they will probably not do it in-house. They will have a third party. So that means that the user needs to give away very sensitive data. So passport, address, name, whatever, to these third parties. And we don't know who these people are. So where is your sensitive data going? We just had a discussion with it from a friend, with a friend yesterday. He works at Verif. They do sort of KYC and work with a lot of blockchain companies. he's like, well, but we are trustworthy. We're not doing anything bad. I said, okay, you're not doing anything bad. But maybe someone you've hired has bad intentions.
Yeah.
How do you know? Where is all this data going? So yeah.
So I guess
that's
I guess that comes back to the whole, maybe there's a lot of projects there for universal identity, maybe, so you're only giving a hash that I am who I am and it's saved someplace else. I don't know, maybe that's going to come through. But in China, don't they have this thing in certain cities where you're rated on being a good citizen? That's kind of scary, isn't it? So where's the chance to be a bit of an anarchist, or, I mean, just even like a free thinker? You're going to be rated, and that will impact your income, your jobs, where you live, all those things you can do, where you can go to school, maybe where your kids can go to school. Yes, I quite like that idea. 15 minutes of anonymity, maybe a bit longer. It could be extended.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that's mad. So what do you think then? Is the week good or bad?
I mean, I think it's business as usual. I mean, the 51% attack, yes, that kind of, I think it is true that it does remind people of, what can happen. But the price of Ethereum Classic didn't really drop that much. So, it's, well, Bitcoin dropped as well, quite a lot, so did the other cryptos. But, they're expecting it to start going back up this year. And Tim Draper is very hopeful on that topic as well.
Good, because I haven't heard from him for ages. That's good to know. He's out and about. He's actually talking in Istanbul in March, I think, or June. And I'm hoping to get an invite. Very nice to meet him. Have you met him?
No, I saw him in LA. There was the Crypto Invest Summit.
Yeah.
Book from there. But no longer conversation. We're trying to raise money from one of his funds before, but personally, not a friend of his yet. Okay,
yes, we work on that. That's so cool. Well, so I reckon, I think we're back to business. It's New Year is upon us. I had to learn to say, I was speaking to somebody yesterday at lunch, and I said, yeah, this year, blah, blah, blah. I said, it's happened already. I said, no, I said last year. I have to get used to differentiating that we're now in 2019. But I think everyone's back to work now. Christmas is forgotten. And I even noticed, as we do in the Western world with the clock change and all the rest of it, but certainly where we are in Ireland, a bit of a stretch in the evenings already. The shortest day of the year was the 21st of December. And now we're only on the 13th of January. And I can definitely see a little stretch in the evenings, like, yay!
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Because it gets very dark here.
I know.
3 p.m. it's dark.
We're putting here at 4 p.m. I think, because you're further north than us, aren't you? It's dark, 4 o'clock, but it's definitely getting brighter. I like those long evenings, so yes. It'll get us through January and February, and then on to March when it's getting nice. So I would say good week. Regular week.
Why not?
Why not? And so we just tell all our listeners, all our thousands of listeners, please subscribe and like on the links below.
Share with your friends. And see you next week.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.